Uh, your Knicks killing it, unbelievable. Can't believe it.
It's great, and what's making it even better, I'm a gambling addict, in fact, and they're winning me a lot of money. So this has been incredibly good on all boards, all accounts here. So
Damn, dude. I mean, you're sweeping right now. You Haas winner, Haas winner, got the posse with you now in New South. Fucking Knicks fan. Damn, I'm a Celtics fan, so we're down right now. We're very
yeah.
down. But I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan, so that worked out somehow. But it ain't about all that shit. Let's talk about Tim Bosby. Cannot believe how young you are. I was watching another interview you did, and you're talking about how you were born in 2004. I was like, shit, bro. I was 15 years old, and this man was a little baby, and now he is this huge human being. He's an incredible fucking wrestler. And it's really neat to hear you talk about like your start as a fan because we're doing the GWE season right now. And I know you've seen it because you can't avoid it with all the drama and silliness
Oh
around it.
my God, especially today, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, God. Dave, pump the brakes. Come on. Pump the brakes, everybody, really. But, to that point is the I literally had it and I just fucking lost it. No, it was that you come in from a different era. You're talking about how like your first guy was John Cena, which of course, right? It's like how people from my generation say that about Hogan, because it's like he's the guy. So when you first get into something, it's easy for you to get into that. But then when you start to like see the nuts and bolts, your guy, which I was like, respect, the Miz. Break down why the Miz is the man.
So yeah. Okay, so you've been doing a little bit of tape studying because yes, indeed, John Cena was my first guy, but it did not last long. It did not last long at all because he jobs the Miz out on whatever pay-per-view in like 2009, 2008, whatever, at the Bash or whatever it was. And I said, that's not cool, man. I'm not really a big fan of that. But no, for some reason, I don't know, when the Miz attacked John Morrison, I was like 4 or 5. I cannot explain it. I literally went, this guy with these baggy jeans for some reason and this really stupid haircut. This is my guy now. And I was either 4 or 5 when he turned on Morrison. I can't explain it. There was something as a kid that just shifted, and I was like, that guy's cool. That's my guy. And I stuck with him. And then about a year later, maybe a year and a half, we're winning the U.S. title. I freaked out. We won Money in the Bank. Cashed it in. I cried. I remember exactly where I was in the living room. My dad cried when he cashed in Money in the Bank on Randy Orton. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out. I was ecstatic. And then I was fortunate enough to go to WrestleMania 27, one of the worst shows of all time, but I was excited. I mean, I was 7 years old in first grade, freaking out. Didn't give a damn about, well, actually, before I say that, am I allowed to cuss on here? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I have a problem. I cuss too much, but
Brother, I'm from Arkansas. I'm right there with you.
I did not give a damn about anything else on that show. But the Miz and John Cena, the main event, and my dad, we were like all the way at the top. Like we were at the top and we are touching the back wall. Like I'm up there with Eddie and Sting. Like I didn't know, man, but like, and I couldn't even see the ring. You couldn't see anything. Like they were ants. We were so far up, you couldn't even really see the Titantron. But I was just happy to be there. And I'll never forget when they did the double count out. Everybody's booing. I loved it because at 7, I was like, championship rules, championship advantage. We can take the belt and go home. And then Dwayne came out and restarted the match. But then we won, so it was awesome. But no, The Miz, I don't know. He was just always my guy as a kid, and not just him, but I always found the heels or, the bad guys much cooler. So, like, The Miz was my number 1. Ziggler would be, like, number 2. And then when Cody started doing the dashing, but when he really got out of the dashing, like right after Mania 27, he became my guy. I always like him and Big Show's feud, which is random. I loved it. Him winning the title off Big Show stepping through the table. Like and now it gets talked about on Twitter almost like every 6 months. But like that was like a core memory. I was like, this guy's awesome. He won the belt again because Big Show stepped through a table. But I don't know. I just always loved the bad guys, and to me, the Miz was the coolest.
Yeah, bro.
And it's shocking to a lot of people. And still to this day, he's my guy. Mike Mazanin, shout out.
You're in, yeah, right. I mean, God, you want to talk about like a modern day, and this is gonna be a weird like thing, but like just a road warrior in the true sense, right? Like that dude's on every tour they go on. He's doing every show.
He's a beast.
Needs to be way more respect for the Miz, man. I know it's cool to hate on him. It's like how it's cool to hate on Seth Rollins, and I'll throw that out there too. I think that's just preposterous, right? Like I think that guy's like great too, and it's like it's different strokes for different folks, and I wish people would kind of just think of it more like that rather than just dogging on people. But you're in good company because fucking Rhea Ripley's favorite wrestler was the Miz as well, so I think you're good there.
And something else too. I didn't really have an argument when I was a kid or teenage years when Brian smoked him on talking smack, talking about you wrestle a safe style, and like for years, like all the Miz wrestle safe. I didn't like as a kid, I was like, I don't really know what that means. I don't know. But now that I'm a wrestler, hey dude, this shit hurts. So like
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, absolutely, and you know it just as good as anybody because you're on that grind. You're not just like doing your home promotion. You're traveling and you're getting out there. Of course, it was announced that you're going to West Coast Pro coming up in June, and I mean, I feel like the second half of this year is really going to open up for you. I think a lot of people are going to like really start to hone in on you. And you talked about a guy that you got to wrestle earlier, your number 2, Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler. I just watched that today. Really fucking good match. I was like sitting there the whole time and I'm like, what the hell? This could be a SmackDown 2016 main event. Like this rules.
Yeah.
That had to be super fucking cool.
Yeah, that was an incredibly sick day, and what a lot of people, nobody knows at all. It almost didn't happen because day of the power went out because there was a crash, a like incredibly terrible fatal crash right down the road in Memphis that knocked out like all the power within the area. So when I got to the building that day, there was no power. Nemeth was there. There was no lights, and obviously none of the cameras could work. We couldn't shoot anything. It was pitch black in the whole little wrestle center. And the lights and everything did not come on until like maybe 25-ish minutes before the show had to start. So like Nemeth had to do his meet and greet outside because there was just no lighting in the building at all. No air conditioning. It was a whole thing. So I was like, of course, it'd be my luck, the biggest match in my life, the power's out, and they're just going to send people home. They were literally – we were going to have to go, all right, guys, we're sorry, show's canceled. And they were going to have to try and figure out another date for Nemeth to come in. But thank God the power came back on. But there's a little story for that. But the match itself was very fun. Nemeth is a very funny guy. He is incredibly smart, as everyone's probably already knows. He was on TV for 20 years for a reason. He did not have to do anything that he did for me. He went out of his way to make me look good, and I greatly appreciate that. And I was very thankful for that match and opportunity. And it was really cool to get to be in the ring. And like, I'm supposed to be, I normally don't get nervous for matches, but I was extremely nervous for obvious reasons. But then when the bell rung, the whole match, he's cracking jokes the entire match. And it's just like, it just took all the nerves away. Like, I don't know if he can maybe sense that I was so nervous. So he started to kind of try and, make jokes, make me laugh. But like, I couldn't believe it. Like I got him in, I'm pulling stuff back here, but I mean, I got him in a hole and he's joking about stuff I won't say. And I was just like, what is going on right now? All right, cool. We're joking back and forth. We're having a full conversation. Nobody even knows it, just about random stuff. So I don't know. He was a very good guy. I'm very thankful for the match and the opportunity.
Yeah. And I mean, just overall in Memphis, like I feel like you couldn't have got lucked out more because really, like, for whatever reason, the Memphis wrestling modern thing that you guys got going on was really kind of out of my peripheral for a while. Like probably until maybe a year ago, did I even really understand that, like, no, this is a thing. And like people show up on this thing. This isn't just like a student show thing. It's like, shot callers, people that matter in the business are here. I was like, wow. And then, it didn't really hit me that you trained there. That's your home promotion. You're from Memphis. And I was like, oh, because I already knew you and from action and everything, and you're killer, as you know, of course. And so I was like, damn, okay, there's some people in Memphis, man. And there is like definitely going to be following that going forward. And then another match you had was with Kazarian, insane. That
Oh yeah,
definitely,
that was cool. That might be my favorite match.
yeah.
Just because like, Kazarian was sick. Like Kazarian, there are sometimes, there are some people that might take dates that are bigger names that, as I like to say, may not have the working boots on that day. They're just there to get a payday. Nothing wrong with it. Little Kevin Nash, little show up, get a little payday.
Yeah.
But Frankie Kazarian had the working boots on. My God, that dude, I was like, holy shit, it's like 2005 X Division, how much he wanted to do. So that was another cool one there.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's the whole cool thing to him too. I just could imagine is at this point in his career, he's coming into that. He's like, Memphis, all right, cool. That's neat anyway. He's a fan. And then he sees Tim Bosby, this freaking like, guy that has no injuries, no like, issues, right? Like gung ho, you're in there with Kazarian, you're not gonna say no. He's probably thinking like, dude, this is gonna be sick. Like we can do whatever the fuck we want to do, no limitations. So that's cool to kind of see that come together.
It was very cool to team with him, and it was like, I want to say a week, or it could have been more than 2 weeks later after AJ retired. And I thought about, man, how funny would it be? What if I did a Styles Clash in the match and I didn't tell him and I just did it? I wonder what his reaction would be. I said, no, maybe I don't do that. Because
Right.
I thought like, oh, that'd be kind of funny if I looked at him and did the deal and then did the Styles Clash just out of nowhere. I was like, no, that might get me blacklisted. I don't know. He might slap the shit out of me. So I said, I'm not going to do that. But no, he was really, really cool. And what's cool about both those names too is I went to WrestleCon. I did not have a table or nothing. I just went as a fan. I went to WrestleCon just to meet the Honky Tonk Man, which was an incredible experience.
I
But
recall this now. Yes.
as I was walking around trying to find the Honky Tonk, I bumped into both Nimeth and Frankie at separate points, and they both were like, I didn't even stop them. I didn't want to bother them, but they were like, "Oh, hey, I just worked with you like a month or two ago. Hey, what's going on, man?" And I talked to both of them for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "Man, WrestleMania weekend was a very surreal experience, and that was two big reasons. There's like, man, I'm just like in now with these guys. Like these guys are like peers. Like I used to watch these guys, and now I'm just a coworker, sort of. Like that's sick,
Yeah,
So,
man.
but yeah, Frankie and Nemeth, two really good guys, and I was very fortunate to get to work with both of them in separate ways.
You mentioned WrestleMania weekend, and I put over you against Danny Jones to like everybody that would listen from the action show. Really, really like that match. What was it like wrestling with him? Because I feel like he's really super underrated.
It hurt. Jesus.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of me. It was very fun. What happens a lot of times, it was the first thing he said when he walked in and saw me. A lot of people don't realize how big I am. I don't even think I'm that big, but to other people I am. I'm 6'3", 260.
That's
And
big.
when I got my Hokas in, I might be a little 6'4", 6'5", put some lifts in. But he walked in and he said, "Oh, you're big as shit, lad." Like I think he had a match kind of in his head, and then when he saw me, he was like, "Oh, I probably can't do that." But he was very fun. He hit hard. That show in general was nuts with Suzuki and Zack Sabre and Jonathan Gresham and Timothy Thatcher all on the same show. And I had really bad, I don't know what the term would be. I told Matt, the promoter for Action, I just said thank you for including me on this. I feel like a charity case because I don't belong on this show. I don't know why. I mean, I was just looking around. I was like, look at the guys on this show: Manders, Adam Priest, like I said, Gresham, Thatcher, Saber, Suzuki, Eric Stevens was there, Mad Dog Conley. I was just like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I don't need to be here. That was a very surreal experience. And I got to talk to like all those guys that I just named. And like, I wrestled Thatcher in Memphis about last August. So I get to see him again. And I literally, before I could even speak, oh, Tim. And I was like, he remembers me. Like, this is sick. So that was another cool moment. And that match in particular, the Danny Jones match, I enjoyed it. But I don't know if anyone really caught it. I damn near knocked myself out on the ring post. Holy shit.
Yes.
What a terrible idea I had. I was like, yeah, I normally miss the clothesline a lot, and I normally just eat the buckle. But I said, hey, the way this ring's kind of built, it's kind of the actual post is pretty close. So I was like, I'll just do like the old Nick Nemeth or the Mr. Perfect. I'll actually hit the top of the post. And when I go to do it, I got my hand, completely miss it with my hand, and just eat bottom lip. And I stopped wearing the mouth guard here these last few months, so it's easier for me to talk trash to the people. And oh my God, was I missing that mouth guard? My mouth, the inside exploded, and I was spitting blood everywhere on the mat. And I was so apologetic for that. I was like, I'm sorry. I only because there was like a few matches after us on that show, but then the way WrestleMania weekend, a building gets rented out and just there's shows the entire day. And that was the only ring. So I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Because there's like 4 more shows that are going to happen in this ring today. So that was a very cool experience. Very fun. I enjoyed all of it. Like I said, very beginning, I'm a gambling addict. So of course I enjoyed Vegas in that aspect too. But just getting to be around everybody and like, be like, oh man, dude. I went from being like a fan of all these guys, and don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan, but now like I'm kind of their peer, you know? So just very sick, very sick.
Yeah. And it's really refreshing as a fan to hear that. And especially someone in your position, because I feel like wrestling is full of stories of people that get a lot really early and they let it just ruin them, man. And it's nice to see that, like, and knowing the little bit that I know about, like, you know, you were an amateur wrestler and all that, I always have a belief that when you're in something like that, it humbles you just naturally. Every day you get your ass kicked. You don't have that ego in a way that a lot of people do. You can still have an ego, but it's not like that wrestler ego, man. I feel like a lot of these people, and I mean, we all know it's a thing, right? Like, we don't need to be in locker rooms to be like, this guy had it, and then you just kind of let it go. So it's cool to see that, like, you have a level head, like you are good and you improve and you get better. And part of that is knowing that you're good. You know, there's an aspect of that. You have to have confidence, but I don't know. I just thought that was really cool that you're just like, what am I doing in this locker room? Because I feel like that just on Twitter with you guys. Like, literally, I'm like, Tim Bosby just like said yeah to an interview. What the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm just some asshole in Florida. What's going on? Does he know that?
I'll tell you something so markish from me. And if I would have known it, I would have tried to find my yearbook in time. Because that match with Suzuki and Saber, yeah. I flew in that Wednesday night, and when I touched down in Vegas at like midnight, I go on my phone and the match was announced. I freaked out on the plane. Like, I freaked out on the plane. There's all these people that are around me that have no idea, why is this guy like I'm like pumping my fist. Like, I was excited. But so my senior, I need to find this so I can post it on Twitter, maybe get a few likes. But my senior yearbook from high school, my picture, I'm wearing a Minoru Suzuki jersey, like a football jersey. And then my senior quote, because they made everyone had one, and I did not give a shit to give them one. The lady kept harassing me. What's going to be your quote? I just said, Heckers, Zack Sabre Jr. And then I said as a joke, sure enough, it's in the goddamn thing. So my senior yearbook, it's a picture of me wearing a Suzuki jersey, And my senior quote is just Techers, Zack Sabre Jr. 4 years later, almost to the day of graduation, I'm on a show with Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. So I'm a big time mark, but like, like now I'm like,
That's sick, man.
I'm a coworker mark, so I don't know, but I just thought that was really cool. I need to find that yearbook and post that. But yeah, what an insane weekend.
I feel like, yeah, you couldn't help but feel that way, right? Like in your position, you're young in the business and like you're making moves, but it's like compared to these people that have this history, it would be hard not to be like amazed by that shit. So yeah, changing gears completely to just me marking out for you now. Is, looking through your thing today, I was like, cage match and everything else.
Oh my
like
gosh! By the way, my cage match, because I'm such a mark, 7.71. I check it every day. I'm pretty sure that's my rating. What a rating! I'll take it. Please,
it's pretty good.
Keep giving me a good rating. I check my cage match every day.
One of the reasons you got that is the Haas tournament that you won this year. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Awesome shows that whole weekend. And of course, the big ending to the weekend was you winning and of course giving the jacket to your mentor, Dylan Hales, as one should, I believe, and then of course, everyone that's anyone in the Southeast independent scene is just like in your posse now. So I feel like you're basically the Andre the Giant posse meme of today, dude. You have a fucking posse in New South, and it's pretty serious. But how that had to be surreal, right? Like you get to a building, you're at Haas, and they're like, "Hey, so Nick Gage is here." Yeah, you're gonna beat that fucking guy. You're gonna go on. What?
Yeah, I had heard about that for like a month and a half out. They're like, that not that I was gonna win, but that I was gonna be wrestling Nick Gage, and I was like, okay, I have been in wrestling now for like 3.5, about to go on 4 years. I have heard plenty of things. I now have a saying of like, I don't believe anything until I'm on the car ride home to the event, because shit can change while you're in the ring. Somebody can get hurt and a finish gets changed. So you'd be like, oh, I'm going to do this cool thing or whatever. And while you're out there, somebody gets hurt or something happens, and then the thing doesn't happen. So I've been told a lot of things are going to happen. I'm going to wrestle this guy or this will happen. I never believe it until the car ride home. And they kept telling me, I was like, yeah, I'm sure something will happen. But then, no, sure enough, there came night 2. Gage and Shook was night 1 and their crazy death match. And then night 2, me and Nick Gage, and what a surreal experience that was. Oh my God. Meeting him on night 1, I mean, I was, nervous. I, in my younger days, used to listen to a lot of Jim Cornette. And of course, Jim Cornette's not a very big fan of Nick Gage. So I kind of like, I've only probably seen like the Matt Cardona death match and maybe just 2 or 3 other things. Him and Jericho when he had his little AEW appearance. But I was like, man, this guy's crazy. He robbed a bank or whatever. Like this guy's, I don't know. And then I was so nervous to go meet him. But he was such a down to earth guy. He was so nice. I'm going to step on his aura in Mystique here for a second. But he really is a nice guy, and honestly, probably like the best locker room guy, like locker room leader that I've been in a locker room with, just because he talked to every single match, gave them a pep talk, told them, hey, you're here for a fucking reason. And when each match got back, he told them, hey, I really thought y'all killed this specific moment. Maybe I would have done this or this, but this right here was awesome, or this was all great. Like he had a great seminar. He was the opposite of what I said earlier, how some guys might take a date just to Kevin Nash, get a payday. They don't talk to nobody, they sit in the corner. They give no effort in their match. He was the complete opposite. He talked to everybody. I saw him picking up trash, and I was like, why the fuck is he picking up trash? Like he was such a leader that whole weekend, and everyone loved to have him. And I really can't say enough good things about him. Like I said, I'm killing his mystique, but he was so incredible. And now, sadly, I have to wrestle him again in July. Him and Matt Tree. My Jesus.
Dude, that's really crazy, buddy.
Yeah, I was able to avoid doing all the stuff that him and Shook did in that night 2 match. I don't think I'm gonna be able to avoid it in this tag, but I'm not a deathmatch guy at all, so this will be fun.
That is kind of the thing, and it feels like it's back to where it was like, maybe it is a cycle in the way that I think about it. Like 10 years ago, it was like the trendy thing, like the guys like Swerve and the guys that were the wrestlers would also do death matches. And like, part of that was the Lucha Underground influence and all that stuff. And I feel like that's coming back around a little bit. Jameson is like Jesus. I almost feel like Jameson is getting to where he's a death match wrestler first. Like we're almost at that point.
I think he's going to be. I love Jameson Shook, one of my close friends in the business. I think Jameson Shook a year from now is going to be like the biggest thing of that world, I guess.
I agree.
Might even be a year. I think he's getting such a following. He's such a good dude, and I'm so happy for him. I don't know how he does it. Everything I see, I go, I'll never do that. I will never do any of that stuff. But he's so incredible, and I think he's really, really good. And hopefully he can carry me in this tag that we have to do. I'm just going to let him do all the crazy stuff. So,
well, Jameson, I mean, yeah, you talk about full disclosure. Legitimately, so far, the nicest person that I've done one of these two with. Anyway, I talked to him an hour after we recorded, like about life. He, in that conversation, I told you in the DM, he straight up went, who would be great for one of these, man? Tim fucking Bosby. You know what? Hit him up, man. And I said, okay. And he goes, nah, he's like me, bro. He's crazy about this shit. He loves this stuff. I was like, all right, cool. And I already knew who you were, and I was like, Tim Bosby, fuck. Explain what it's like to kind of, I guess, to use a Dusty Rhodesism, sit under the learning tree of Dylan Hales, because I feel like he's like the guy behind the scenes right now, kind of really tapping everybody into like the goods.
Yeah, Dylan. Oh my gosh, when I first started working TWE like 3 years ago, I barely would speak to him. Like I'd just be like, "Hey, boss man, what do you want me to do tonight on this TWE show?" And then that'd just be it, and I'd drive home. And it wasn't until literally our run started pretty much in action where we started to get actually close and communicate on a regular basis. Oh my gosh, what a very smart individual. He has changed my outlook on a lot of things in wrestling. And, he's been around and has sat under other learning trees. He was a big Jimmy Rave guy. He got to ride with Jimmy Rave a lot and got to pick his brain. And now I kind of get to pick his brain on what Jimmy Rave thought of the business, So like, little cool nuggets like that, and just kind of his outlook on wrestling and little things that, like, anything can be a moment. You don't have to do the cool flippy whatever. Do anything can be a moment, and like that's such a there's things in wrestling you get told that are just they're so simple, but like until the right person tells you or you hear it in the right context, you go, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like 10 people can tell me, hey, like you can make, I don't know, let's just say a hair pull. You can make a hair pull the biggest moment of the match. You'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. But the way Dylan can lay it out, you go, fuck, it can be. I can get the biggest reaction just by pulling somebody's hair by doing it this way. Like it's little things like that. And he's been great the whole action run, and carrying over to this New South run and just getting to be around him, pick his brain. Like I said, he's been around for a long time, and he's got to sit under a lot of other people's learning trees. So it's just been an incredible experience.
Dylan Hales is a guy that I don't think people understand how long he's been around just the wrestling sphere. Because like for the longest time, he was a forum guy and he was a PWO guy. That's how I know Dylan Hales. All the podcasts back in the day, the epic, like I think it's like 6-hour extravaganza he did with Chris Zellner 10 years ago now. God, I feel old. So it's really crazy for me specifically, like a guy like, man, Dylan and all these podcasts that I followed. And then I'm like watching IWTV and I'm like, that's fucking Dylan. Wait, hold on a second. That's Dylan Hales. And, I heard him on commentary and stuff. And now him as a manager, I mean, he is I'll just say it, best manager out there right now working. I don't think there's any doubt. He gets so much heat on the mic. He doesn't even have to really say anything though. Like
Well,
he is just he gets it, man. It's like you said, the little things with him.
and what I don't think a lot of people don't know is a lot of your favorites that are on TV right now sat under Dylan's learning tree many years ago and would ask him pick his brain on things. And then not on the TV level, but a lot of upper independent guys now that travel around the country still go back to Dylan and say, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what about this? And are still picking his brain now. A lot of people pick Dylan Hales' brain. That would shock a lot of people, I think. So
Yeah, man. And why wouldn't you? He's just I look at him as like the classic example of a classic fan, an old school fan. He absolutely is. But he also evolved with wrestling. And I think that's a big thing with these fans of yesteryear, so to speak, is you got to understand that shit evolves and you got to evolve. And I love that about Dylan. You know, he's clearly not the guy in the back going, all these flips, this bullshit, but he will come to you and go, maybe like two of those flips instead of six. Make it make sense.
he's not he's a good way, or he has a good way of not even like taking out the flip or whatever, but maybe the way a lot of guys will lay out their matches to him and he'll go, okay, what if you like flip this around? Or what if the setup was different? A lot of times it's like he's good at coming up with like the setups and how to get to it to maybe make it the moment bigger than just doing it. Well, what if there's this before that? And then when you try and do it, maybe this happens. And then finally on the third time you get it, or like this, like he's so good at the little minute things. And like I said, every show, you'll see literally almost every match, he's getting pulled in different directions every show. I watch it happen at every action show. It happens a lot at the New South shows. Every match, hey, Dylan, can we run this by real quick? And as soon as he gets done with it, here comes match 2. Hey, can we run this by you real quick? Oh, and then here's the match that happens at the intermission. Hey, Dylan, can we run this by you real quick? Like he's constantly getting pulled in different directions, and everyone wants to know his opinion on the little things in their matches. So
it definitely shows because you see a difference. I'll just say that. Like you see a difference in where Dylan does things and where he does not. And it's not even a good or bad thing. It just is what it is, you know, like for example, like you can very much see his influence on TWE just in general, you know, like it flows, the cards make sense, things are not just in places for no reason. And I mean, when I interviewed Jaden, he pretty much said that, you know, that he is a huge piece of like helping me with creative, but also just the look of things.
that's something else too. Like, you know, I mean, when I was younger, I played like armchair booker, you know, for like my figure fed or like in the 2K WWE games or whatever. And I didn't really think there was like a science to it. That's another big thing you brought up there. Dylan is great at formatting a card, which I don't think people realize just how important it is. I certainly did not. I was like, just have the cool match go first, and then I don't know, just figure out the rest and have your main event. I don't know. And he like at TWE specifically, I've watched him and I've asked him questions. And now we've gotten close to like, why do you do it this way? And he explains it match to match to match to match. And I'm like, oh my God, there is so much to this that where, like I said, I just would have been like, all right, let's just have the cooler matches go first, the ones in the middle, and then the main event's the main event. But no, there is a layout, and he thinks of everything for it to flow. And I'm just like, my goodness, you know, what a brain. So,
oh shit, he had to help book all those fucking SCIs for all those years, you know. It's like that had to be mental gymnastics. But yeah, I love talking about Dylan. I feel like he's a guy that gets a really bad rap in stupid ways, and he's also just somebody that people don't really realize what he does and how deep his knowledge goes into the business. I actually want to give you a recommendation, if I may, of somebody to watch that I think you're already doing a lot of what this guy did really well. Unfortunately, he's long since no longer with us, but a guy out of Germany called Absolute Andy. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy.
I have not, but I'm going to put this in my notes here.
The reason I say it, and specifically with what you're doing, like in New South and stuff, and with your heel stuff, For one, it is kind of bizarre. He does the gimmick, the F5, which is strange. That's not even why I tell you to look for his shit. He's such a great stooging heel. He's so good at it. And like he's also such an athlete and he's a big dude too. So I think that'll probably help you. And I just like the little things that he does. He's such a chicken shit guy, but he does it in such a way that you're like, he's dangerous. I don't know. I think you'll dig it. He also has one of his best matches he ever had was against Zack Sabre Jr. 2018.
So you already sold me here.
There you go. I'll send you the link.
See,
Yeah,
you bring that up. A lot of people hate how I wrestle in terms of like I'm a bigger guy. I should just dominate everybody. Like I said, as a kid, I loved the heels. I love being a stooge, bumping chicken shit heel as a big guy because I think there's more heat to it when it's like, okay, I have a legitimate background. I'm actually big as shit compared to some of these people, but yet I'm backing off. I'm doing the flare hold on. I'm doing eye pokes. People are like, God damn, dude, you're big as shit. You have a real background, and you're going against Adam Priest, who's a little short gremlin, and you're having to eye poke and hold his tights to beat him. Oh my gosh! Like I feel like there's more heat to it, and like. Because then, especially now too, look how many big guys there are now that are just dominant powerhouses with a Will Hobbs, a Braun Breaker, Obafemi. They have like 100 in the NXT. Keanu Carver. Oh my gosh, Mason Rook now. To me, there's so many big, just dominant guys. Why not just have a big? I have my moments of dominance. I'll make sure I get. Shout out Brian Cage. I'll make sure I get my shit in. Like I'll have my moments of looking cool and tough, but why not throw a little chicken shitness in there? Like I tell you someone who I absolutely love because my dad was a big wrestling fan, which plays into me becoming a wrestling fan in general. A name my dad always used to say as a kid, and I would just always be like, yeah, whatever, man. But now in the last like year and a half, I have become such a fan. And there's a lot of things I steal from him. Ernie Ladd. Holy shit. I love Ernie Ladd. My dad used to always talk about him, and he always used to cut promos as Ernie Ladd. And he always talked about dirty roads, your time is coming, dirty roads. And like I'd be as a kid, I'd be like, what are you talking about, man? But now in this like last year and a half, oh my gosh, Ernie Ladd. I love him. He's big. But he's backing off. Like he's doing bumping feet. He's getting thrown around everywhere. Like, and I'm nowhere big as Ernie Ladd. Ernie Ladd was huge, but like, why can't there be more people like him? Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it, why not? I'll wrestle that way of like, I'm big, but I'm not afraid to bump and feed. I'm not afraid to bump like Sean or Mr. Perfect around the ring. So I love doing it, but boy howdy, does it get under people's skin that I don't do the typical big man stuff and be a killer or whatever.
I think people want you to be Kurt Angle so bad. And I actually had it written down about how, like, that is the thing that with Tim Bosby online, like the discourse that I have seen around you, it's like the tale of two fans. It's like the people that see you doing the Ernie Ladd and see you doing my favorite thing that you do is when you like do the fucking roll up and you put your feet on the ropes. You don't have to do that, right? Like you're a big guy. You can use the classic thing is Bobby Heenan talked about. You do it because you're a fucking heel. Yes. That's the heat, right? So that, and then also people want you to be the Kurt Angle guy because of whatever. I think it's literally because you wear a singlet. People are very superficial in that way, especially in wrestling discourse anymore. They're very like shiny new thing. It's crazy. Or, people that see your work and like see what you're actually doing. And they're like, no, like this dude does the cool stuff, but he puts it in places that you wouldn't expect it with the fucking just way that things have been as a heel. And I really appreciate that. And I did want to see kind of what you thought about how people sort of pigeonhole you as the guy that is the amateur wrestler. And it's like, no, I'm more than that.
See, that's I've said this before on a pod. Like I try not, people say, well, what's your style? My style adapts to whoever I'm wrestling, because I don't want to be just a technical wrestling guy, or whatever. And I don't want to get pigeonholed in that category. I want to be able to wrestle anybody that you bring in. I will be water. My opponent will be the cup. I will fit into the cup however need be. I don't want to get pigeonholed one way or the other. And you bring up the Kurt Angle stuff. So when I first started at the training school, Memphis, they wanted me, the people in charge at that moment, wanted me to shave my head. They wanted me to do the angle slam, and they wanted me to do the ankle lock. And
Oh my
I
god.
said, man, that's revolutionary. That's great stuff. Wonder where you guys got that from. Only one of those things stuck out of the three things they wanted me to. I do the ankle lock in Memphis, and I only do it in Memphis just because that's what the people in power want me to do. So still got to get a paycheck. But everywhere else, I don't do it. I try. The only thing I do Kurt Angle like is I have a singlet that I take the straps down. I do a German suplex, and I sometimes do the run up suplex thing, but which I like never do. I always get foiled. I always run up and I get shit on. So like I
It's
only
like
have
your flare bump.
yeah. Like I have a singlet and I do a German suplex. That's like the closest thing, to Kurt. But I get it, amateur wrestling background, and it's 9 times out of 10, all like amateur wrestlers do the ankle lock. And they have their Kurt Angle moments now. But yeah, I much rather like having a mix of being dominant, but getting to be more chicken shit and just godly, what this guy, man, come on. Like you bring up the Danny Jones match, people in the crowd, like the beginning of the match, I'm like afraid to chain wrestle. And I'm like, man, hold on. Like I'm putting my head through the ropes. I roll out a certain point, and the people there that had no idea who I was. They're like, hey man, you suck. Get in the ring, pussy. And I was just like, well, hold on. We're on my time. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And like I got the people there mad just because I was afraid to wrestle this guy for a second. And then he got the better of me. And I think that's another problem too, is I think a lot of bad guys are not really bad guys because they all want to look cool and tough and have their moments, and they never want to give the good guy their moment when it's like, hey, dickhead, that's kind of what wrestling's about. Like you're supposed to be the side character. The good guy's supposed to be the main guy. It's your job to make him look good. So give them, you can have your moments, but you got to make this person look good too. But
Yeah, man.
I can go on a tangent about that, but
I mean, and it really, I think, is the tale of the difference between people that live for the what I would say like the internet clout stuff, right? Which would be the chain and get the cool gif, and you have those moments, right? Like
oh
you
yeah,
do.
especially here these last few weeks. My
Yeah.
goodness, everything I post somehow kind of gets a little bit of traction. So that's what I'm talking about. I can get my moments in, and I can clip them, and then people
Mhm.
are like, "Oh my god, who is this?" And then like if you
Yeah.
go watch a full match, like the Slim J match, both of them that I clipped and put and got some good traction off of. You're like, wow, this guy's dominant. Who is this? And you go watch it. And it's like, God damn, he's running away from Slim J. Slim J's bumping and feeding my ass. He's
So
doing
great.
all this cool shit to me. So you can have a good balance, I think.
I think so. And you really have hit that balance. And a guy Slim J doesn't hurt. You're in such a like spoil of riches in Tennessee, man, and like in Atlanta area as well. Like you really have strong promotions within a really not very far drive for you. So it's like, you, how could you not learn? How could you not get better? And it's really crazy to see you specifically. I feel like just the last 6 months, you have like completely evolved, and I see more of that. The chicken shit element, which I love. More so than just doing moves to do moves. And a great example of that, I think, is the stuff you did with Darian Bingston, man. That's what really got me into your stuff and that whole thing in action, and specifically where you dropped the title in December. Legitimately one of my favorite matches on the independents of the last 5 years. I love that match. I love the end. I love how you incorporated everything that you had done up to that point. What's it like to like put all that together with a guy like Darian, who again, a lot of people don't know, Shakespearean sort of
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
very classically read, really deep thinker. Yeah, that was great stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. That match in particular was really fun because we had some Northeast guys and gals that I'm very good friends with there that night. That I felt like the last time they seen me was who I'm talking about is TJ Crawford, Channing Thomas, and Gina Monty, referee, all
Okay.
Northeast people. And the last time they saw me was SCI Futures 2024, and I was, year and a half in, 2 years in, or whatever, and got to meet them there. They took a liking to me, kept in contact, and them getting to be there at that show and then seeing like my evolution, if you will, almost like a year and a half later, was like, oh, this is cool, because like they get to see like, hey, I've evolved. I took what you guys told me, last year in the summer, and I've applied it here in this way, and now here we are. So that was a cool moment there. And also too, Gina got to be the referee for the first portion of the match before I grabbed her head and threw her into the title.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool night. The match itself was a lot of fun. Dylan, being an absolute maniac, taking the flip dive bump off the stage onto
Holy shit.
no padding, nobody
Nothing.
catch him. I've told this to a lot of people. I was not nervous for that match at all. I was like, this is just going to be another night. The only thing I was thinking about that bump, he had to take the whole time and in the whole match. I was pleading with him, please do not do this. Don't do this. Have somebody catch you. What are we doing? You're doing this on the floor. He could not be talked out of it. He was like, this is what the moment calls for. This is the finale. This is what we're here for. They want to see this. And I kept saying, I know, but I think there's a different way we can go about this. Like we were having an argument that day about it. I was like, this match is going to be fine. It'll be cool. But I was so worried about that flip thing. And once we got to it, where we get into the stage, I just kept thinking, oh my God, here we go. Here we go. And then from my viewpoint, where I was on the stage behind him, like the way from my viewpoint, like he tucked his head goddamn at the last second. I thought he spiked himself, and I was so worried, but he was fine and he was all good. But yeah, that match was really fun, and it was cool. That match got a little bit of traction, and Darian, great champion, great representative for Action, and what a story. For those who may not know, I might butcher this a little bit, but Darian had a blood clot, and maybe something else too, about like a year to that day before in the fall and winter of 2024, where he didn't wrestle for a long time and he almost died. Like it was a real thing of like, holy shit, this is a very serious issue. And then for him a year later to be back wrestling and to win the Action title, I thought it was a very cool moment. And what a great champion he's been. And yeah, that was a very cool, fun match. I'm glad the Northeast people got to be there for that. I'm glad I got to finally have Gina as referee, even though, like I said, I smashed her skull into the title. And I don't know, just what an energy. And this is going to be weird, but like, I've always knew I wanted to be a wrestler, but the moment where I was like, okay, like I'm going to do this was Mania 30, which once again, I was fortunate. My dad took me to that in New Orleans, and Daniel Bryan tapping out Batista to win the world championships. No one ever understands this. I told it to Dylan, and he kind of got it, but everyone thinks it's the weirdest thing. When Batista taps, I look around, and everyone is jumping up and down. Everybody's screaming. There's people crying. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I was 10 at this time, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be in that position. And this is where everyone's like, they're like, oh yeah, okay, who wouldn't want to be Daniel Bryan? And I go, no. I want to be Batista. Like,
Yeah.
it's the weirdest thing.
Mm-mm.
I always be like to have, because I mean, when he locks in the yes lock, everyone's on their feet and they're waiting for Batista to tap. And then when he finally does it, the place just explodes. And I don't know why, but at 10 years old, I was like, I want to be in that spot. I want to be so hated, or I want to be so in such a big moment where everybody wants to see me tap. And then I kind of got to have that moment with Darian, where once he locks in the hold for real, and there's no Dylan, we've already bumped all these refs, people ran out, we're in the final moment, they're all waiting. Is he actually going to do it? Oh my God, he does tap. Yay, new champ. Like, I got to kind of have that moment. And nobody ever understands that. I still don't really understand it either at 10, me being like, yeah, I want to lose, at 10 years old. Like, what a moment. That's a real moment. I want to be a loser. But Yeah.
Maybe you understood, because if you really think about it and you break it down in an intellectual way, Batista's the one in power of that whole
Yes.
thing, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like, and like throughout history of like, I'm always, I hate, I don't know what's going on the last few years. Everybody thinks they're too cool or too cool for school to tap out. I hate a choke out or a pass out finish in a submission. I hate it. I think it's the
Hate it.
it's. And I've
Yeah.
been very spoken up about that. And I think that was like the initial idea was for me to pass out. I shot that shit down in a second. I said, that ain't happening. No, I'm tapping out. Because that's another thing too. Um, a lot of people give me critiques for that, saying, "Oh, well, I'm a big guy. I shouldn't tap out. I have the amateur wrestling background." Fuck you. You want to know an example I always give people? Brock Lesnar's first UFC fight. He taps out to a fucking knee bar or heel hook, whatever it is. And like 1 minute, 2 minutes of the fight, when somebody gets you and you're gotten, you're gonna tap. Like, I hate the pass out shit. But like, I feel like when it's that time and they're all waiting, it's on you. It is the person tapping. You have all these people, how many people in the room or arena, stadium, whatever. They are waiting on you to tap. Another good example, thou that should not be named, 2004, the WrestleMania finish. Oh my gosh, everyone's waiting on the game. They're waiting on Triple H to tap, and when he does, the garden explodes. Like, I mean, my gosh. So I don't know. I feel like tapping out's cool. And we did it again at some school show back in March. And Matt, the promoter, was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do like a DQ or we're gonna do like a roll up or something." They're like, "No, I'm tapping out again." And then everyone was like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "Because it's awesome. Like, and that's what the people want to see." So,
Dude, it is. And like, now I just feel like I wish that you would have been in the era of ECW, bro. Because imagine how many people you would have elevated with that, right? Like big mean Tim Bosby and Dreamers. Like, you would have done the him and Sandman classic argument in the back that almost became a fight of who will lose rather than who will win this match. You're gonna like end up with that somewhere down the line. I feel like if Daniel Makabe was still wrestling, that would be you and Daniel. No, I want to lose. And you'd be like, no, you're Daniel Makabe. You lose. That's tremendous. I love that about you. And then another thing, I mean, geez, two things. How crazy is it to think about that you grew up in Memphis? I assume you grew up there, and you break in. It's fucking Memphis, right? Like how crazy is it to have that history of wrestling around you like all the time?
oh gosh, I'm gonna hurt some feelings with this. Do not care for the old Memphis stuff. I know that may sound crazy. That may sound, and what I think,
Nice.
I've been thinking about it these last few weeks because it keeps coming up. I think maybe it's because around here, just because of where I am, it gets so hyped up, so put on a pedestal that maybe I go into it with not good vision or a good mindset because I'm like, all right, everybody's talking about this, and my God, it better be good. And that's not, like I said, I don't want to come off as like, oh, the new generation that hates the old school wrestling. No, I love old school wrestling. I don't know. There's just something specifically about Memphis. Like in training, it's all we would watch. When we do our tape study days, we're watching some form of Lawler and Dundee. And there was one match they put on that everyone's freaking out about. And I'm like, are we serious right now? Like this is what we're going crazy about. I will say, like, Lawler with the fireball would get me every time. I would never see it coming. That was some cool moments. I think there's one, it's Lawler and Funk and like Empty Arena that we watched one time. That was pretty cool. And like Terry's like, my eye, and the whole thing. But yeah, Memphis, it has a lot of history. And here in these last few months, I've gotten to play off that history where I talked about like
King of Memphis.
Yeah, the new King of Memphis, in which, oh my gosh, nobody else has a problem with it where I go because, if I go to Georgia or, Las Vegas, whatever it may be, they're like, yeah, new King of Memphis. That sounds interesting. The people here, however, not fans of it at all, hate it. And I'm not just talking about people that pay to see the wrestling shows. There are a ton of people on the shows that are not big fans of it. And guess what? I don't give two shits. Get over it, pussy. So
Yeah.
I've upset a lot of people with that. But I think I'm doing my job. That's the point of it. I wouldn't say it as a babyface, but I like saying it as a bad guy. It gets a reaction. And even too, I started, like, I did it in the Memphis the last few months, and it always got booed. And I was like, well, I wonder if people will care enough if I start saying it other places. So, like, I started testing it out. Like, hey, TWE, hey, ring announcer, can you say new King of Memphis? I'm just curious what they're going to do. The people boo. I was like, okay, we're in Chattanooga. I don't know why they give two shits. Alabama, the people boo incredibly when Carmen Michael says the new King of Memphis. And Texas, when I went to New Texas Pro back in April, when they said the new King of Memphis, the people booed at it. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, Jerry Lawler has obviously built up enough following where someone else claiming that besides him, people get very hot about it and they don't like it. So I was like, I'm just going to keep running with it. So
Hell yeah.
I just keep having everyone say it around the country wherever I go. When I go to West Coast Pro in June next month, when I go to Produce in Brooklyn, New York in August, best believe from the West Coast to the East Coast, I'm going to have both people say, hey, introducing Tim Bosby, the self-proclaimed new King of Memphis. And I'm going to see, do the people in San Francisco, California care? And do the people in Brooklyn, New York care? I'm just kind of surveying what works and what doesn't work. Because that's another thing. I'm getting off on a tangent about wrestling, but not everything works everywhere. I found that out the hard way because I was in Memphis, you know, when I first started just doing the training matches in our little local show. And then my first real, I was doing TW Chattanooga, but I like Chattanooga from Memphis is about 4.5 hours away. So it's not the same audience, but it's not that much of a different audience. Yeah. So my first real time getting out was when I went to Naptown Pro in Indiana and Indianapolis. And I tried to wrestle a Memphis style match where it's very more character based, very slow. I'm doing all the old stuff where like I pretend that I have knucks in my hand when I really don't. And my opponent was like, this isn't going to work. And I was like, no, trust me. And which I'm at that point, I was like 5 months in, 6 months in. I don't know why he was letting me, you know, dictate the pace of this. But I was like, it's going to work. Trust me. We get out there in front of these people in Indiana. I mean, you could hear a mouse pissing on cotton. I mean, they did not give two fucks about what I was doing in this ring. And I got to the back and I said, man, I'm so sorry. Like I thought I knew. I thought I was like on another level. I thought I was cooking up cinema. I thought I was doing it. They were not into it. And then that same day, how that show worked, there was a nighttime show, and I was on the daytime. The nighttime show, I got to be in a 6-man tag that featured Calvin Tankman in it. And I remember Tankman, he was like, yeah, I saw that stuff you did earlier. Maybe go in a different direction. And I was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then I had a balls to the wall type match in this 6-man that I still love to this day. I go back and rewatch it. And those people ate it up. And then they booed me the first time. And not even because they like, I was a bad guy. They just thought I sucked. And they're like, yo, get this bum out of the ring. But then when it came to the nighttime match in this 6-man tag where I'm doing crazy shit with Tankman, I got big reaction. Me, Mackenzie Morgan, and Jordan Saint. And I don't know. That was my first real experience of like, you hear it all the time. You hear the old wrestlers or any wrestler ever talk about like what works here won't work wherever else. That's a real thing. That's a real thing that I had to find out the hard way.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's even like here in Florida, a show in Jacksonville that I've been to versus like shows I've gone to in Orlando, totally different world. Like Jacksonville is a very old school town because of the Florida territory and all that. So like everyone comes through and all that, but it's a different sort of vibe versus Orlando is like the tourist capital of the South, basically. So it's like they're just here for whatever. They don't really react. They don't really care. That's why WCW's fucking tapings down there plummeted and sucked because like who cares, you know? That's so funny though that you go to Indiana. I mean, Indiana just got burnt the fuck out too. You know, like Ian Rotten did them no favors. So that I'll chalk that up to an Ian Rotten fuck up just because I want to, basically. And then who are some of the people that you've wrestled that you really enjoyed wrestling? Not even necessarily that it was a good match. It's just easy to wrestle them.
He's a gremlin. I hate him. I hope he gets ran over by a bus, and hopefully I get to be the driver of that bus. But Adam Priest is really good dude. All jokes aside, he's like my mentor. I look up to him, not literally, just figuratively, because like I'm like a foot taller than him. He looks up to me. But no, he was my third ever match, and he did not have to do what he did for me that day, where he was when I first started, which it not like a sob story, but like people didn't really treat me right when I first started. And it's funny now in the Memphis area where now like, oh yeah, Tim's good. Tim's cool now. I want to work with Tim. It wasn't like that when I first started. There's a lot of wishy-washiness now. But Priest looked at me, my third match ever. I still had my high school gear, did not have my, gear I wear now, and actually had a competitive back and forth match with me, taught me, sat me down, talked to me after the match. And this was right before he blew up. This was like the fall of 2022. And it's not until like a few months later, early 2023, when he starts going big into the DPW run. And then when he just blows up, I don't get to wrestle him all of 23, all of 23, all of 24. But then we come to last year in June or May of 25, and they're like, hey, we're going to do you and Priest. And I was like, yes, because now I've gotten to learn, I've gotten to evolve, and I want to show him like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing fully, but I've improved since my third match when we wrestled. And that was a very fun match. And another thing, like I said, he's such a giving guy. He did not have to do that match that day because that the first time we wrestled in action with the opening match, and that's because it only goes like 10 minutes. That's because he had to hop on a flight. I mean, as soon as he got done, hopped straight into the Atlanta airport, got on a flight, and went to go wrestle for Rev Pro, the British J Cup.
Oh my God.
And when I found out he was doing that, I was like, why is he wrestling me the day before? Why is he even taking the chance? Just go to the airport. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I understand. But he still took the match. And what a blast that was. And it meant a lot. It meant a lot because he came back and was very thrilled with the match and didn't have like any notes. He's like, man, that was really good. And then I knew it was really good because the Gremlin texted me like a week later when he's never texted me before. He's like, hey, just thinking about it while I'm eating lunch. It was a good match. Be proud of that. And I was like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And then I got to wrestle him again in October, a few months later, and we got to have a more extended match. I've only wrestled him 3 times, but we're really good friends. Like I say, I look up to him, not literally, but I view him as a mentor because he's somebody that came. I'm from Memphis. He's from Battleground, Alabama, which is about 4 hours away from where I am. So we're pretty much in the same neck of the woods. So I look at him as a leader, an example of like, look at what somebody from this area can go do. He went and traveled the country. He traveled outside the country. Now the guy's wrestling Kazuchika Okada on national television. He's wrestling John Moxley. He's got a title match tonight on Ring of Honor against Mark Davis. You know what I mean? So like, I look at him as an example and a blueprint of what a guy from the South can go up and achieve to. So Adam Priest, most definitely, I'd probably say is like the number one that I just love wrestling because it's easy. And then another guy I'll say that's from the Memphis area, you may not be familiar with him, a guy named Marco Harris. He's a young, athletic guy. I say young. He's older than me. He's old. He's like 23. I always mess with him.
Fuck that guy. He's so old. I'm 37.
But we've got to have quite a few different matches, and it was funny because like we started training at the same time, but at different promotions. Mine was in Memphis, obviously, and his was in Mississippi. And there was a little bit of like a deal there.
Of course.
There was no deal with us, but with the promotions there was. So like we never got to interact, but we would talk on social media or whatever. And we were like, man, I can't wait to wrestle you. I can't wait to wrestle you. And it didn't happen for like 2 years. And it finally did. And then we went from not wrestling each other to him coming over to Memphis once the headbutting stopped between the two promotions. And we went from never wrestling each other to wrestling each other like 20 times in the span of 2 months. It got a little ridiculous, but because we were wrestling all over Mississippi and Memphis and Alabama as well. And we did a lot of stuff where we look back on it now. Those matches happened like a year and a half ago. Some of those we look back like, man, we don't know what we're doing. We're terrible. What is this? Like a lot of it's Okada Osprey tribute, which is like a lot of it because those are like some of our guys, and we love like the 2010s, early 2020s New Japan style. So we're like, oh, we're gonna show the people of Memphis that this is something that can be done here. So like we just straight up rip so many spots off, but like he's someone I enjoy wrestling. So I'd say those two: Marco Harris out of Memphis, and then little gremlin Adam Priest. So
definitely gonna check out Marco Harris then, because yeah, it's funny to think about that being almost like I like to call them like wrestling dead zones, and I would never say that Memphis is like a wrestling dead zone per se, but it feels like people would just assume that it's this big scene, and it is not. It is not. And I'm from. It's funny. Memphis is a place that I went on vacation a couple of times because I am from Arkansas, on the whole other side of Arkansas from Memphis. So whole other side, that is a fucking wrestling dead zone, man. Like literally until like a couple of years ago, there was no scene whatsoever. And I think it's just burnout, probably a lot similar to like the Memphis situation before, like, the Memphis wrestling current outfit started really rolling, because where I'm from was the Mid-South territory back in the day. So they just got fucking completely burnt out and then nothing. And it's kind of like funny to see that drama in such a small thing. It's like, brother, this ain't
it's terrible. There's so much. Man, I hate it. There's so much drama on promotions in the Mid-South area, and I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. That's a whole other thing I can talk about for 2 hours.
yeah. I mean, come on, but relax. Prop up everybody before you worry about any of that bullshit. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier, I feel like you're expanding throughout the world this year. You got, San Fran, you got Produce in New York City, which has to be crazy, right? Like you're coming from like Memphis, the Southeast area.
Here's me gonna keep being a mark. I don't care. Produce. I was hitting the Tiger Woods fist pump. I was at a Walgreens, or I was out in public, and I was just scrolling on Twitter, waiting in line, and I saw that they announced Mystico and Hechicero for the same show I'm going to be on August 3rd, Brooklyn, New York. Let me tell you something. I went ballistic in line. I was like, yes, Mystico, Hechicero, what? Like, and it's a weird thing now because like I try not to bug guys. Like I try not to because I'm a fan, but like when the guys at a show, they're just there to work. They don't want to be bombarded and be like, hey man, I used to love watching you when I was this and this, and you give them like their whole backstory, like they don't know because they lived it.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, I have to get a picture with Mystico. I don't know if I can make this happen. But I love Mystico. I think he's incredible. Hechicero, I love Big Hetch. And I just went ballistic. But yeah, it's been incredibly cool to get to go out and travel around. And what's the coolest thing to me, like I said, I brought up earlier, and just bring up these two guys for an example. Getting to travel around, be on shows that like matter in the grand scheme of things, and then being on shows with this level of talent. That is what's like, how I just said it earlier. When they announced Mystico and Hechicero a few days ago, why the fuck am I on this show? like you know what I mean? We got fucking Mystico coming in. Are you serious? Hetch? Yeah. Come on. What am I doing from Memphis, Tennessee on this fucking show? But that's the coolest thing to me, and it's just surreal. Like I have two friends, they're not in wrestling, but I've known these guys since I was like 11. We met messaging on message boards and online about wrestling, and we are still talk every single day. And it's the cool. It's like we're all the same age, and they're like the same people that we all used to mark out for when we were like 14, 15. I'm now just peers with them. I'm now just talking to them casually. Like when I tell them, like, you'll never believe who called me this week, or you'll never believe who messaged me. You'll never
Yeah.
believe I'm going to be on a show on. They're like, what? Like, it's so funny, and just so cool. And I just always think like, what is life? You know, I'm blessed that I get to do this, you know, especially now, like, I now pretty much wrestle like at least give or take like 7 to like 11 or 12 times a month. And when I first started, that was not the case at all. I was just doing one show, the Memphis show, which is one day a month, sometimes two. And I was like, man, I just want to be on the road. I just want to wrestle. I just want to wrestle. And now I'm in this stage where I'm wrestling on a frequent basis, but I'm not just wrestling, because I also think, and sometimes I have a problem too, quantity does not mean quality.
Absolutely.
Okay? I think a lot of guys be like, well, I'm doing this every weekend. I'm wrestling here, I'm wrestling here, I'm wrestling here. But then when you look at it, they're wrestling in the same spot. They just run the same shows, and there's nobody credible on the shows. You're not wrestling anybody credible. You're not getting any good experience. You're just kind of doing it to stroke your ego of like, I'm wrestling 25 times this month in the same building that holds 10 people, and there's nobody else on this show except me. You know, it's like, come on. But like, I'm very blessed that I get to travel around now these last few months and be on crazy stack shows that have a Minoru Suzuki, a Saber, oh my God, the West Coast Pro Show.
Yes.
I took the fuck out because yesterday or day before they announced Daniel Garcia versus Ozone.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I was like, I'm pumping my fists. I'm like, I'm gonna be on a show with Daniel Garcia. How fucking sick is this? And like, Kozone, another great guy who I've never got to meet him, but I've seen pretty much all of his work from DPW. This whole thing with Adam Priest, like, oh my gosh. So I'm like,
awesome.
Hell yeah. So I don't know. I just mark out almost pretty much every weekend now, just because I end up on these shows that have people that I should not be on shows with, and I'm just like, hey man, my name's Tim. Nice.
You belong, man. You got to do those mantras, brother. You got to wake up every day and be like, I'm fucking Tim Bosby, motherfucker. Let's go. We're going to go. You know what we're going to do? We're going to turn everyone on their heads. We're going to go out there and do some stooging ass heel work. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go out there and start stooging. But, dude, that's how I feel about being on Voices of Wrestling. Like, I like started writing for that website, and now I'm like in their Discord, and like, we're talking about West Coast Pro. Scott from West Coast Pro would be like just talking in there. And I'm just like, what am I doing in here? This is stupid. Like, these people actually book and make things and do wrestling. And I'm just some asshole at my house, like writing about wrestling and interviewing wrestlers. But it's neat, you know, and it's nice to have that, especially when you've come from somewhere where you did not have that, or maybe even any hope. Like in my instance, like I didn't. Like I said, I'm 37, man. I just started really doing this in a serious way. It's like, you never know. You never know, man.
I absolutely agree. And I've just been very fortunate and blessed. And what I think, my dad told me this when I was younger, just about life in general, but I think it really applies to wrestling, about how wrestling, from my experience so far, it's about timing, luck, and who's willing to say your name in a room that you're not in. And I have been very thankful and blessed that people have said my name in rooms I'm not in. And a big one, like I say, he's my mentor. I look up to him, not literally, but Adam Priest. He has put me over in rooms that I had no right. My name does not even belong in the room. And he has gone to bat for me and has gotten me a lot of good opportunities. And another guy, Darian Bankston, that's how the produce deal came about. Him and Adam Priest putting that together. And I've just been very fortunate to make good connections and people willing to go bat for me. So just very blessed with how everything has come around. And like when I first started wrestling, it wasn't like I was not grateful or anything, but like I wasn't, it's not the right word. I wasn't taking anything in. Like now, like the last year, like the last few months of the Action Reign, I just kept going, man, the goal was to just be a wrestler. If I was just a wrestler in the backyard, would have been cool with me. But like,
Yeah.
I'm actually getting to do this, and especially here so far this year, these last few months, like I just said, I just keep going. I'm looking around. I can't believe, like I'm taking off my boots 2 feet away from a Suzuki who's taking off his boots. Like,
Yeah.
all right, like I just keep having these moments where I go like, man, this is cool. Take it all in. And I think that's another thing too. A lot of wrestlers, for the most part, maybe forget. Like the goal was to just be a wrestler. There's a lot of drama, there's a lot of BS, but just don't forget the goal was to just do this. And now you're doing it. That's all I keep thinking
Yeah.
about. I just go, dude, I'm doing it. Like I'm here. This is cool. So yeah, just trying to be blessed and grateful for everything.
Well, you talk about grateful. I'm grateful for you and your time, man. We've hit everything I wanted to talk about. Is there anything that you wanted to plug, put over? Obviously, your social medias.
Yeah, everything social media wise should just be Tim_Bosby. I post cool gifs and videos trying to get myself over on Twitter, so that's nice. Go support.
Yeah.
Gonna keep plugging my cage match profile. Everybody hates cage match, but I love it. That's another Mark thing that
Yeah.
I've been using cage match since I was like 11. And once my buddy told me about it, and I was like, this is the greatest website ever. And then the day that, because when I first started, I kept looking like, oh, do I have a cage match? Oh, do I have one? Like I would have my name would be on it, but you couldn't click on it. I wouldn't have a profile. I'd be like, oh man. And then one day it was on there. I damn near cried almost. Like, that's another little things too. Cause like, once again, I can't say enough. I have an obsession with wrestling. It's all I ever watch. It's all I ever care for. So something as little as cage match that may be funny. You can poke fun at it. I've been using that website since I was fucking 11. So to see myself now on it, and I have a profile and it has me, like you can actually go through my stuff. Yeah, sorry. That may be lame to anybody listening. That's fucking cool shit to me. So 11-year-old Tim is jumping up and down, fist pumping, because I have a cage match profile on a website that I use. So like, yeah, but I would say socials, obviously cage match. Keep plugging West Coast Pro, June 20th. Me and Alpha Zoe, August 3rd. Produce. I do not know who I'm going against, but I'm sure it'll be somebody crazy because that's all they book on that show.
Yeah.
Crazy people. So yeah, I think you can find me here in Memphis, and maybe big announcement coming soon. How soon? I don't know, but maybe something. I'll be getting to go wrestle somewhere cool. We can say that.
Nice. There we go. Well, thank you, Tim, for doing this little shindig, and definitely going to happen again. I feel like the must do's immediately again is like you, Jameson, Jaden, like gotta do them. But yes, until next time, everybody, go check out Tim and all the shit he does. He's great, and go follow him. Have a good one.